we're gonna talk about cultured meat. It can also be called synthetic meat or lab-grown meat.
I'm so skeptical about this, but go ahead.
I like
Really?
It's also the ethical alarm, like boom, boom, boom.
I have a
Yeah.
biological problem with this.
Problem. Maybe I
Whatever that
can
means.
tell you how it works.
We have.
So-
You didn't start. Sorry, but we are like we have problems with it.
yeah, I didn't even say how it works. And you're
Okay, enlighten us.
Yeah.
We'll listen.
Cultured meat, also known as lab-grown or cell-based meat, is meat created by growing animal cells in a controlled lab environment. When producing cultured meat, the biological processes that usually happen within an animal occur without the animal.
Buckle up and join the girls as they explore new technologies and discuss the future. Welcome to the Lay Back, Think Forward podcast. Together, fourunify, for you.
Hello, movers, shakers, and future makers. Woo! Today, I'm hungry again. So guess what we're gonna be talking about? So last time we had vegetables. Today we're gonna have
Sweets?
Yes, not sweets.
Finally.
Oh, I was thinking sweets.
Yes, we're gonna talk about cultured meat. Cultured
What's
meat.
that?
Cultured
It's-
meat.
Yeah, it can also be called synthetic meat or lab-grown meat.
Oh.
So you
Uh-huh.
basically grow meat without the animal in the lab, which I think is very interesting. It's also a bit controversial.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Any first thoughts on this, or do you want me to,
I
to
like
start
it.
by
It's-
explaining how it works?
I'm so skeptical about this, but go ahead.
I like
Really?
Yeah, by me is also the ethical alarm, like boom, boom, boom.
Which ethical alarm?
Oh, ethical alarm.
Which ethical alarm?
I have an ethical alarm. You do? Yeah.
You want to kill animals instead? That's the reason. they're doing
I don't understand.
No, that's not the point. But go
Huh?
further. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
wondering what it is because I think it's pretty nice. I mean, it's weird, of course, again, that it's just grown in a lab and it's under this very controlled environment.
As
But-
it is right now. It's also very controlled.
Yeah.
How they grow
You're
the
right.
cow.
You're right.
You don't want to see it.
I have a
Yeah.
biological problem with this.
a biological problem.
Whatever
Maybe I
that
can
means.
tell you how it works.
We have.
So-
You didn't start. Sorry, but we are like we have problems with it.
yeah, I didn't even say how it works, and you're everybody goes like.
Okay, enlighten us.
Yeah.
We'll
You
listen.
basically don't have to kill an animal to get the meat, which I think is nice. You just need need some stem cells, and you start with the stem cells. And if you don't know what those are, you're not the only one. I also didn't know. So
I
stem
still didn't
cells-
figure it out how they make the barbecue vegan barbecue sauce.
But this
But
is
that's not the point.
this is a good question.
Barbecue sauce?
We can talk about later. Is it really vegan or not? Because it's actual meat. You know.
I see what
So it's grown from real cells called stem cells, and these cells are able to develop into all kinds of different specialized cells. So they could turn into muscle cells, into fat cells, or I don't know, all kinds of different cells, basically. And what they do in this process, that they take these stem cells and put them into something called a growth medium, which is usually liquid, and it has all kinds of, I don't know, nutrients for the cells to be able to develop and grow and multiply. And then they basically provide a certain environment for these cells to turn into muscle tissue. I'm not sure if this is really happening, but also fat cells. So you could be creating, I don't know, a steak from a cell that you extracted from an animal, but you don't need the animal. An ethical question is this thing alive? Was it ever alive? Was it ever killed? What are you eating? Is it really part of an animal? You know, is it vegan or is it meat? Because it has the same biological consistency as meat, and it's
Same.
basically grown from cells from an animal. But you don't grow the whole animal, just a part of it, just some tissue. To make it look more like meat, you can put it into molds, and these molds are put into something called, I think, bioreactor. So it provides an environment as if these cells are growing in the body of an animal. You have a certain temperature and certain conditions, and in this growth medium I told you about earlier, you have these nutrients, so the cells are growing how you like them to be growing, and in a certain mold, so they have a certain shape in the end. They can also do it with 3D printing, but that's another topic. We're not going to talk about that now.
But they don't have conscience, right?
That's the
Good
question.
question.
You don't know it.
They don't have a brain, so they don't have a conscience.
So you need a brain to have consciousness.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, imagine your hand is cut off. Will your hand feel anything?
But that's not the. I mean,
what is a conscience
yeah,
actually?
it's ethical. I think it's an ethical question.
I mean, if you cut off now my head, obviously this is a bit gore, but I would die, right? But if you cut off my hand, I will not die. That means consciousness is in the brain, is what I thought.
But if that's gonna set animals free, I mean, I don't think that in this thing there will be any conscience.
Stem cells are extracted from these animals,
Yeah.
and stem cells, I'm not sure if they're limited or if they will affect the growth of the animal.
Of the animal they're being extracted from.
Yes, yeah. So I don't
No,
know.
it's just like they do a biopsy. They do local anesthesia, and then they just take the cells away, and that's it.
Isn't it this still life? It's not like you can grow the cells without the animals. So you from the beginning you still need the animal.
Yes, you
But-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the animal, or they can also do an indirect extraction, it's called. And they just take cells that they used before. Because you start, I think, with very few cells, and then they multiply. So you can kind of reuse the first cells you use, I think. But this is something I'm not that sure about.
Are you chewing gum?
No, I just ate something.
Okay. I'm like, okay, what a
No, but I
what a
had.
chill moment.
Okay.
You were discussing
I didn't
some-
know we are allowed to bring gum.
Oh, next time.
I'm not chewing gum, I just ate.
I have a question about this, but the question is the stem cell, like they're limited. And she's not listening.
I'm sorry she wanted
let me
to,
ask
but
you
I don't
guys.
have any.
I'm just gonna ask the specialists up there.
Yeah.
Stem
Sorry.
cells are limited, right? I mean, if you take away a stem cell, it does not reproduce the stem cell that you take away. So maybe that's a question. Do you know?
But I don't think it's harming the animal you're taking them away from. But I'm not sure though.
Why
I'm
didn't
not
take
sure.
the stem cells from animals?
Because they want to grow the food.
They want to make they want to replace this vegan meat with real meat, but without harming the animal.
But then it's not vegan.
Yeah, it's not vegan. It's just meat, but it's not
vegan.
from a slaughtered animal. It's just grown in a lab from a
Yeah.
cell.
If you're including the animal, it's not vegan.
But it's interesting because this is also a discussion
Yeah.
I read about. Also a religious discussion. What do different religions think of this? And is it allowed to eat, I don't know, for example, pork for Muslims? So nobody's quite sure, is it really vegan? Is it real meat? Like I said, was it ever alive? Was it killed?
But I think this is all. I mean, for Muslims, even cow needs to be cut with a certain
Way.
certain
Yeah.
way. But right now, is nobody's doing it. You can't do it. It's serial production. But they say they do.
Okay.
That's why the
It's another
difference.
thing, you know.
If you like think about more in the future, what is then like the difference between growing a whole animal or human even in lab? I mean, if you say like it doesn't have consciousness, and
I see what you mean.
yeah, it's like
I think
where
it's-
is the cut where you say okay?
to me, or to what I read, it's a lot about the nervous system. So they say, many people say it doesn't have a nervous system, so it doesn't have a conscience, so then it's okay to eat it.
But I
Compared
think we
to
are
an animal.
asking the wrong questions right now. Because that kind of new idea is coming because we are going to somewhere
Mhm.
with we are so many people on the planet and we have no food for this. So that's a solution for our survival.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not like, oh, is it ethical or not ethical? We can't afford to produce meat that much. It needs to be aware for everybody. So that's why a lot of people are working on doing very similar to our habits or taste similar to our habits. So they will find a way to sell it somehow. So if it's ethical or not ethical, I think this is right now. This is not the right question.
They did some research on how to call it actually, and it depends on how you call it. If people would actually accept it or not.
Oh, yes.
So
very
would
genius.
you call
Yeah.
it cultured meat? Would you call it lab
Lab-grown?
grown?
I don't think lab
know,
grown is a good.
Synthetic. Yeah. So cultured meat, I think, is the most
Yeah.
common one.
Mm.
But like to go back to your question, I think I don't know. To me, it's just a body part basically. It's like Thoraya said.
Yeah.
It's a body part, and to me, that's more ethical than killing a whole animal. You know?
for it. I mean, I think I saw a video about this where they taste the difference between lab-grown cultured meat
Mm-hmm.
or the normal meat. Well, basically, they didn't taste that much different. I mean, the same texture, the same is what came out of it, basically. You couldn't tell the difference. It's expensive, right? To do that?
It's very expensive. Like I think right now per serving, it's about $100 to produce. Yeah. So this is what they're working on right now, scaling it because it's obviously possible.
Uh-huh.
I was just gonna say that can kill veganism. Like,
Yes.
because if everything is like this, and it's just the alternative for people who cannot give up for meat. I think because vegan wouldn't eat this.
Depends on the reasons
Yeah,
vegans don't
but
eat.
if you
right?
say it doesn't have consciousness and in a way
No.
it's not an animal.
It doesn't matter. You take
comes
something
from
from
an animal,
You take
basically, right?
something from animal.
To me, it's like it's an animal part without the animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind
The reason why vegans are vegans, some vegans are vegans, is because of this. That they don't want to kill animals. So maybe more vegans will become non-vegans. But
Maybe, yeah,
vegans who do this for other
totally.
reasons will stay
Totally.
vegans. I have another question.
Yes.
How long does it take to make one piece of meat with this lab-grown meats?
Ooh, that's something I really don't know. I didn't research that. I just know it's very expensive to do it. And I think the most expensive part is actually the growth medium, because that's very important to the growth of the cells. And that's also, I have to laugh because that's also an ethical problem. The easiest way to do it is from fetal blood. From cow
now we are
fetuses.
coming to the
Now
ethical
we're
part.
getting there.
Because like the most nutrients you need for doing that, for growing those cells, are flowing through the bloodstream.
I
You know,
see.
but I think for 1 liter of this, it costs about $1,000.
Wow.
Now they are working on some synthetic growth media where they kind of mix up all these nutrients. But yeah, that's I think the most expensive part. It's what keeps it from being more widespread. But there's already the first restaurant in Israel where you can try this. But I'm not sure if it's open, if it's really widely open to the public, or I don't know, or if it was just for some people to test it out. Something good about it is, for example, you don't need antibiotics. So this is apparently a big problem
Yeah.
that we have, that we start to getting resistant to antibiotics because we get a lot of those through meat. Because we give it to the animals,
I see.
you know, in the production process. And you can also add some different nutrients and maybe change some of the fat cells to make it to turn like bad fats into good fats.
I
Yeah.
see.
So you can kind of work with it, yeah, and create a healthier,
food.
yeah, alternative. So this is, I think, very nice, and it uses a lot less land
Does it use less energy to make it?
Yeah, good question. Not sure about that. Like, there's research saying it uses less, and there's also opposing research. So,
Because
not sure.
we all know the meat industry uses up a lot of energy, right? It's what
Yeah.
the complaint is about as well.
So it's not really clear if it really is more environmentally friendly
I see.
in that sense.
Yeah, and animals also need a lot of oxygen,
Yeah.
air, a lot of gas.
Oh.
So that's also very not friendly
Yeah.
for you know.
You mean
for
when
the
animals fart?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people ignore this point, but I made a research about this,
Oh.
and this is like really people don't understand that detail. But imagine so many animals eating only all day and farting into the air, and that's a lot of dirty gas in the air.
But wait,
It's unhealthy for the world.
we do the same.
But there is
But we
like
don't eat you.
the thing
So that's
is,
not a problem.
we are already dangerous for the whole universe.
Oh, I
That's
see.
for sure. But we have the control right now, right? So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, the food choice we make, like cow meat or any meat, this production causes also a lot of gas, dirty air, and it's fart
part of it,
actually.
yeah.
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 It's the fart. It's
fart
going
gas.
to going
So-
to the air. It's not good for the
Environment.
environment. The thing is, people. I mean, we don't know how many. We are talking about million of cows.
Yeah, that's true.
We are not, because we don't see it. We think they don't exist. You have to feed billions every day. So there are millions or billions cows on the in the nature or production.
And cows are big, but think about chicken. You know, we don't think about this either, but it's actually a lot more small animals.
Yeah, but cows fart more.
Okay. Let's make this discussion.
I'm gonna be contra.
I'm pro.
Okay, I'm also pro. You are contra also,
Yeah,
right?
I don't
you're,
like
you're
Oh, okay then.
okay.
We're good.
Perfect.
Debate challenge. You have 2 minutes.
I think the problem with this is we don't know the biological consequences of having lab-grown meat. We don't know if it's really good for you or not, and so I'm very skeptical about that. The long-term problems will come.
I think it's actually very similar to the usual meat, but I think because it's more controlled, it can actually be made healthier, be turned into something healthier for sure.
Christina.
And I have a problem with getting like the line between, okay, it's just meat, but meat is also like it's a part of a living animal. Just to see it like, I don't know, a material. So we then declare something that is probably is from something living. It's just, I don't know, we say it's just a material that we use. So I have like an ethical problem with this. So, yeah.
We already do it. That's why I don't understand. So, but I am pro because I think we have billions people to feed. So I am more open to new options and the options, the good for the environment. So I would definitely say that can be something. It help us to save the animal.
Yeah, to me it's also less harm. But
I
now
have something against that. But go ahead.
Yeah, but it's not about the harming the animal. It's just that you declare something that is alive to a material.
No,
Maybe
I've got
we
another
already
one. No.
we already do it.
No, but I think we'll have more animals on Earth, and maybe that's also a problem.
So what do you mean by we are gonna have more?
We're saving the animals, and therefore, what will the animals be there for? And therefore, we need to feed more animals on Earth as well.
You mean the ones they already alive?
Yes.
They're alive because we need more. You want?
No, I don't think so.
So what
Alright.
do you think?
Yeah, sorry.
Moving on.
Did we convince you to be against it? I hope. I think we're right. Or are you with them?
Mm. Actually, to be honest, I'm also skeptical,
I'm
but
like 50-50.
I am always for some solutions for environment,
Yeah, that's
and that's why I think that kind of a new work
Mm.
should be appreciated always.
yeah. I'm 50-50.
I
Yes.
actually am for.
Why are you so mean to me?
Well, because I think the whole argument that meat will be made to be more better for us because they will change the whole consistency to be good fat and bad fat. I think we will profit from that as humans. So maybe I'm up
At
to
least
being
you're
stronger.
honest.
I'm actually against it. No kidding.
Okay.
No, no, no. I love it. I love it. I think
Yeah.
it has a lot of potential to change something for good. But yeah. Now,
Okay. What do you think?
exactly.
Yeah.
Your turn. What do you think? Let us know. And we're done for today. I think that was enough. Don't forget to lay back and think forward. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.